and welcome to Stories for Wonderful Children. I'm Dan Wendelin, your host and storyteller. Years ago, I began recording the bedtime stories I told my children every night. Now, I'd like to share those stories with you. I hope you enjoy my Stories for Wonderful Children. Once upon a time, there was an old man. He was a very old man. His name was Ted. Now, Ted had a problem. He had an extremely lumpy bed. It had lumps and bumps and nodules, and nodules are sort of another word for small bumps, and big humps and valleys and even little hills in it. And no matter what position he slept on, he could not get any rest. He would lay down in bed in the evening, and he would lay down on his back, and there would be a lump sticking right into his side. And he would roll over and lay down on his tummy, and there would be a little bump sticking right into the middle of his chest. And he'd try rolling on his side, and he would feel two lumps pressing on his hip and his leg, and he'd try rolling over to the other side and curling up a little ball, and there would be more little lumps and bumps, and no matter how much he tossed and turned all evening, he still could not get to sleep.
Should buy another mattress.
That's what he thought, but the problem was that he was very poor.
I really think he should buy another bed.
Yes, Ted had the same thought, but Ted only had 5 silver coins. And when he worked, he got paid 1 silver coin every week. But the food that he ate cost him a silver coin every week. And so he could never save up more money. And he went looking for a new mattress for his bed. And he went to Blue Bertha's mattress mart. And he went in, and Blue Bertha said, "Well, Ted, it's so good to see you. It's about time you came in and got rid of that lumpy old bed." And Ted said, "Blue Bertha, I need a new bed. I am so tired and I can't sleep, and I am really needing a new mattress that I can get a good night's sleep." And Blue Bertha said, but I can't afford very much. Show me your cheapest mattress." And Blue Bertha said, "The cheapest one, huh?" She said, "Well, the cheapest one I have is this one right here." And Ted went over and he tried it out. He laid down on it, and it was sort of hard, but it had no lumps and no bumps, and it felt so good. Well, Ted said, "Oh, I like this mattress, Bertha. How much does it cost?" And she said, "Well, it usually costs 30 silver coins. But for you, because you're a friend, I'll sell it to you for 20 silver coins. That's how much it cost me to buy it." And Ted sighed and felt sad because he knew he only had 5 silver coins, and that wasn't nearly enough. But he didn't want to hurt Bertha's feelings, so he said, "Okay, Bertha, I don't have quite enough money yet. I'll come back when I have enough money." So then he went on to the other bed store in town, Root and Rod's Bed Bonanza. And he went, Root and Rod's Bed Bonanza. That was the name of the store.
Bed Bonanza?
Yep. He went in, and Root and Rod said, "Well..."
Sounds like a monkey store.
Root and Rod said, "Well, howdy, Ted. Are you finally ready to get rid of that silly old bed of yours?" And Ted said, "Yes, indeed I am. But I can't afford very much. What's your cheapest mattress, Root and Rod?" And Root and said, "Well, I declare, my gracious, Ted, you want the cheapest mattress I got? That'd be this little mattress right over here. Why don't you lay yourself down on it and see how you like it?" Well, Ted went over and he laid down on the mattress. It was a little softer than the one Blue Bertha had, and it sort of sagged a little, but it didn't have any lumps or bumps, and it felt so good. He almost fell asleep on it right there. And he said, "This is heaven." He said, "Root and Rod, how much does this cost?" And Root and Rod said, "Well, let me think about it for a minute." And he thought about it for a minute. He said, "Tell you what, Ted, this here mattress, It usually sells for 35 silver coins, but since you're such a good buddy of mine, I'll give it to you for what it cost me, which is 25 silver coins. And Ted sighed, and he felt sad because he knew he only had 5 silver coins, and that wasn't nearly enough. And he had tried both bed stores now. He said, "Oh, thank you so much, Root and Rod. When I've got the cash together, I'm certainly going to come back." And so he went on home, and he went into his little house, and he looked at that bed, all that lumpy, bumpy bed, lumps and bumps, and all those things, and he knew he just could not sleep another night on that bed. So he went into his kitchen, and he got himself a knife, and he said, "I'm going to cut those lumps out of that bed." And he went over to the bed, and he picked the hardest lump that he knew, the one that always stuck right in his back, and he stuck that knife down in the mattress, and he ripped the mattress open, because he was going to pull out that extra stuffing that made the bump. And when he ripped that mattress open, what do you think he found in there? He found a ruby the size of your fist. A huge ruby, and it was what had made the lump in his bed. And Ted just sat there and looked at it. He couldn't think of what to say. A ruby like that would be worth at least 100 silver coins. I'm rich, that Ted thought. I am rich. And then another thought occurred to him. If that lump had been a ruby, he wondered what the other lumps were. And he immediately got that knife and started slicing that mattress open left and right. And as he cut those lumps open, he found diamonds and emeralds and sapphires. He found gold coins and silver coins and copper coins. Why, all those years that he'd been sleeping on that lumpy bumpy mattress, he had been sleeping on a treasure store. Well, you know what the first thing he did was?
What?
He dumped out all those things out of that mattress, and he went and he hid them someplace else in his house. He hid them in the oven, because he didn't think anybody would look in the oven. And then he counted himself out 100 silver coins from the coins he'd found in the mattress, and he immediately took them and put them in his pocket, and he decided that very night, he was going to sleep on a decent mattress. And so he took them, and where do you suppose he went?
The bed store!
But which one?
The banana one.
Root and Rod's Bed Bonanza?
Yeah.
He did indeed. He went to Root and Rod's Bed Bonanza, and he walked in, and Root and Rod said, "Well, howdy, Ted. Good to see you back so soon. What can I do you for?" And Ted said, "Well, Root and Rod, I want you to show me the best mattress you've got." And Root and Rod sort of frowned at him and said, "You want me to show you what?" And Ted said, "I want the best mattress you've got." And Root and Rod said, "Well, all righty, Ted." And so he took him over to the corner of the store, and then he opened the door that took him into the back of the store, and there in the back room of the store was a big, beautiful bed. It was round, and 3 or 4 people could fit on that bed easily. And Ted laid back in it, and it was so comfortable. He sort of sank into it a little bit, and it was so soft. It was like sleeping on a cloud, and he just said, "Ah." And the next thing he knew, Root and Rod was shaking his shoulder saying, "Hey now, wake up, Ted. You can't sleep on this here bed. This is our best bed in the store. And we can't have people sleeping on it. You've tried it out long enough. Now you get up and run along home." And Ted said, "How much is it, Root and Rod?" And Root and Rod said, "Well, this here mattress, it's awfully expensive. It's a nice mattress, Ted. It's a really nice mattress." And Ted said, "I know. It is a really nice mattress. I agree." And Root and Rod said, "Well, this here mattress is 75 silver coins." And Ted said, "Sold." And he counted them out right there, the coins out of his pocket. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75. And Root and Rod just stood there with his mouth hanging open because he knew Ted didn't have any money. But apparently Ted did now. And Ted said, "Can you deliver that?" And Root and Rod said, "Well, sure, Ted." He said, "That'll be another 5 silver coins." And Ted said, "Now, come on, Root and Rod. I just paid you 75 silver coins for this beautiful mattress. Surely you can throw in delivery." And Root and Rod said, "Well, 'cause you're a friend, I reckon I can." And so Ted went, and he said, "I'll look forward to seeing it when I get home." And then you know what Ted did? He went to Blue Bertha's Mattress Mart, and he did the same thing. He asked for the best bed, and she showed it to him, and he bought that one too.
What?
He bought that one too. And he decided that he was going to have the 2 most comfortable mattresses in town, and every night he was going to sleep on a different one. He was going to alternate between them. And that's what he did. When he got home, they'd both been delivered, and they were so big that they took up half his house, and he thought, as soon as he walked in, he said, well, I like this. I'm going to sleep well tonight. And he did. He slept very well. He didn't toss, he didn't turn, he laid down, and he was asleep the whole night until the sun came up and woke him up. And the next morning, the first thing he did when he got up, he looked at his house that was half full of beds, and he thought, I'm going to have to get a bigger house. And he did. A house big enough for his beds.
Tell the story of how he got a bigger house tomorrow night.
And that's the end of the story for tonight.
Thanks for listening to Stories for Wonderful Children. I created today's story, but questions and clever commentary were supplied by my children. The intro and outro music is by Brandon Thompson. If you enjoy the show, please tell someone about it, or leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Our email is storiesforwonderfulchildren@gmail.com, and you can also find us on Facebook or Twitter. I'm Dan Wendelin, reminding you to tell someone you love a story.